Let's talk about some facts here. I am the first senior White House advisor in the history of our republic.
That's either Peter Navarro, a former senior advisor to Trump who was smack dab in the middle of the big lie on January 6th, or it's that weird guy in my neighborhood driving slow around the middle school.
You cannot command me to come to you. And the reason is the
all right, and he will be reporting to that prison 2 p.m. Eastern time there in Miami to serve his 4-month prison sentence. He began by saying, "Not about me." He said this is about a crippling blow to the justice system. To fact check there, it is no longer an alleged crime that he'll be serving this 4-month sentence for. He has obviously been convicted, and there was no evidence that would have excluded him per executive privilege from testifying. So John Roberts just on Monday refused to delay his prison time. He continues to appeal his conviction, Peter Navarro, for refusing to testify before Congress for his involvement in efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. 74 years old, 4 months, Peter Navarro on his way to prisons.
That, my friends, is the power of civil litigation speaking loud and clear. Fox interrupted Navarro when he strayed from the truth, and Fox said, "Whoa, not again," already reeling from the $2 billion settlement by Smartmatic, where Fox had allowed Sidney and Rudy and Pillow Guy to shit all over the truth regarding voting machines.
We got attacked by China, and they flipped this election and down tickets to the tune of tens of millions. This is crazy. And all you have to do is come to the symposium.
For weeks, MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell has been touting his so-called cyber symposium in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, claiming he would present data that would prove to the world China hacked the 2020 election and stole it from Donald Trump.
This time, Fox shut Navarro down hard.
All right, and he will be reporting to that prison.
Today, Trump has revealed that it's easy to attract people like Navarro, a weak little pustule on Trump's ass, and someone who has no idea how corrupt he has become. A graduate of Harvard, you'd think he'd know about this thing called the internet, where we can fact-check his bullshit. But instead, he just keeps on chortling.
A senior White House advisor, what they call the alter ego of a president, to testify before Congress. And executive privilege goes back to George Washington and his remarks to the Congress regarding the Jay Treaty. And he said very simply and clearly, succinctly, elegantly, that to write to the Congress, he said, "I cannot command you as members of Congress to come to me. You cannot command me to come to you."
See, that's where Peter gets into trouble. It's true that there are separation of powers, but there are just as many opportunities/responsibilities for one branch to keep the other in check. For example, the president can veto a bill, but Congress can override it. Bill Clinton tried the line item veto, and the Supreme Court said, no, Billy, you can't do that. And of course, the president appoints the Supreme Court. All right, I'm not saying it's perfect.
Even an agreed upon complete lack of evidence could not stop President Trump, Mark Meadows, and their allies from trying to overturn the results of a free and fair election.
But Congress does have investigative powers that allow them to impeach and convict each other, judges, and yes, Fat Donnie, who got a 2-for-1.
I'm the January 6th guy. The In Trump Time book shows unequivocally that both Stephen K. Bannon and President Trump should be exonerated of any violence on Capitol Hill on January 6th. And what I show in the In Trump Time book is this plan we had called the Green Bay Sweep, clearly between constitutional and legal lines, to basically have only legal votes counted in the election. And we had
you mentioned
recruited,
that we prepared for that. So let's take a look. You mentioned this plan. Here's Steve Bannon talking about it on January 6th.
So I keep saying the mantra: you call the play, now run the play. Right? It's like the old Green Bay power sweep. It's very simple. Very just one thing leads to another, very logical, and a victory is a firm.
So go ahead and tell us in your own words, what was the plan and who was in on it besides you, Bannon, and Trump?
Sure. The backstory is while I was in the administration after the election, beginning on Thanksgiving, I produced what would be an exhaustive 3-volume report. I went over tens of thousands of pages of documents and proved that the election was in all likelihood stolen through fraud and election irregularities. That we had over 100 congressmen and senators on Capitol Hill ready to implement the sweep.
Navarro was a principal in the planning stages of Trump's attack on January the 6th. And when he was subpoenaed, he had to show up. And there are two reasons why the Supreme Court said, stock up on cigarettes, Peter, you're going inside. One, he's not the f***ing president. And two, the president cannot protect him from a congressional subpoena, especially when Trump was no longer the president.
Anybody want to own up to that? Here's the problem.
Hero.
Who's this? Come on.
Bro, you're already facing charges.
Yeah, I get it.
Go ahead and commit a crime. I've been here this whole time. Situational.
Yeah.
Navarro reminds me of the old D.C. crowd before the internet and cable TV, where these guys got away with excessive use of power all the time. As you can see here, this protester in the old days would have been knocked around by Navarro and Trumpy thugs. But that goes both ways, of course. Navarro also uses social media to spread the lie about the election and continues to spread lies about the election today.
Every person who has taken me on this road to that prison is a friggin' Democrat and a Trump hater. It starts with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who forms the J6 committee. I'm pissed. That's what I'm feeling right now, but I'm also afraid of only one thing. I'm afraid for this country, because what they're doing should have a chilling effect on every American, regardless of their party. If they come for me, they can come for you.
Little Peter joins a long list of Trump insiders and an even longer list of insurrectionists who tried to stop the certification of the 2020 election and the subsequent attempted coup. He and Flynn both pushed Trump to declare martial law and stay in office.
I'm going to categorically describe it as, you guys are not tough enough. Or maybe I put it another way, you're a bunch of pussies.
Add that to January 6th, and you can see the danger guys like this posed and still pose to our country. Trump has three types of followers: the MAGA crazies, these dull-witted anti-intellectuals who own only one book, the Holy Bible, which they haven't read either.
I brought my Bible.
I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into...
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite?
The Bible means a lot to me.
Then there are members of Congress who are weak and unable to stand up to the racist, misogynistic, and homophobic base that supports Fat Donnie, so they say, what the hell, I can do those things too. And then there are thugs like Manafort, Flynn, and Navarro, who will consort with anyone, anytime, as long as it fattens up their wallets. Like Trump, Navarro has no allegiance or beliefs that don't benefit him directly. And while Fox was smart to cut Navarro off, they're not so quick when it comes to their primetime clowns, who continue to spread lies and are allowed to because they make Fox money. Fox is like those car manufacturers who would rather pay the fine for making a dangerous car than fix the problem, because there's more money in doing nothing. And while Peter Navarro sits in jail, this crime family still breathes free air, for now.
Who's with me? This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Am I wrong? Damn right.
Yes. Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
Follow, like, and hit notifications as Really American keeps you up to date on the latest Republican cult lie in this very important year. For Really American, I'm Chip Franklin.